BattleBit, the Roblox Battlefield clone that is kicking butt on Steam right now. Today, I want to list the top 10 things that this tiny BattleBit dev team does better than the big budget Battlefield 2042. Now, this is my personal list of top 10, and if you got something you want to add, let me know in the comments. Let's start off with one that really hits home with me, and that is the matchmaking experience. BattleBit's no BS front-end experience is a fast and reliable way to get into a match at the size of your choice. And if you want a little more control over what game and server you join, you have the server browser as a backup. It's simple, easy, and obvious. Battlefield, on the other hand, requires that you have crossplay enabled in your settings, which it may not be just to find a populated server. Then the front-end menu experience can and often will lead you into matches with nobody playing, and it doesn't have any tools to show you which modes are populated. You basically have to guess until you find a match that has players in it.
Keep going, boys! Keep going, boys!
The proximity chat in BattleBit injects an amazing amount of character to the game and promotes casual communication. Is it mostly goofy nonsense?
Leroy Jenkins!
Yes. Does it build a sense of camaraderie and joy among players?
Hoorah, stick to squad!
Absolutely. And it's even occasionally used for tactical callouts and teamwork.
You got it. There's a lot of guys around the corner.
Plus, there's squad voice comms and squad leader only comms to coordinate on the higher level. Compare this to Battlefield 2042, which only has squad comms among your small squad of players. I rarely hear anyone on comms, as it feels almost pointless at times since you're not always that close to your squad mates. BattleBit's destruction might not be what you would call high fidelity, but its implementation is ubiquitous. Most of the buildings in the game offer some level of destruction, with many offering insane levels where you can literally break out individual bricks to snipe out the side of a wall. Alternatively, you can drop C4 and open up an entire wall to reveal enemies on the other side. Even the giant structures and maps like power plants and wind turbines offer Levolution-like destruction events. Compared to Battlefield 2042, which inarguably has better looking destruction, it just has less impactful destruction and less available destruction, in which case I think BattleBit is the clear winner. Even if the rocket launch explosion looks amazing on orbital, there isn't much else to talk about when it comes to manipulating the environment to your needs. BattleBit's 254 player servers are simply insane. Nowhere else will you find such an insane menagerie of combat and chaos in any other FPS. Maybe PlanetSide, but certainly not as consistently as BattleBit. Now, do these server sizes play amazingly well? Not always, but when you find pockets of combat that you can control better, it provides a feeling like no other game. Your flanks become that much flankier, your sniper sprees get that much crazier. It's just more in every sense. Battlefield, on the other hand, was only ever able to achieve 128 player servers, and they've for the most part walked away from that design standard to focus more on the controllable 64 player modes. I will say that the 64 player modes do play well for the most part, but the developers' inability to add enough cover to make the larger modes enjoyable was a huge flaw with their overall game and map design. Now, I won't say that BattleBit is perfect or that every map plays well, but the ease at which the devs seem to be able to update and redesign maps allows them to quickly remove things so that 254 players feels fun most of the time. And speaking of feelings, I hear this all the time. BattleBit just reminds me of all the fun that I had playing Battlefield 4 back in the day. The simpler approach to combat with less wingsuit and fast grappling around means that players have to flank the old-fashioned way. The front lines are usually clearer, and the combat has more corner-peeking, old-school feeling that I know fans of Battlefield miss. Dragging players might sound simple, but the effect of dragging your fallen teammates is undeniably cool and super useful at the same time. No more trying to revive fallen friendlies in the middle of a wide open combat area only to be gunned down yourself. Deploy smoke or just grab them real quick and pull them back to safety for the revive where neither of you die. Battlefield alluded to a similar mechanic coming to Battlefield 5 at one point, but it never really manifested itself. And well, BattleBit beat them to the punch and really established the new standard of how it should be done for all tactical shooters down the road. I'd actually be curious to see if this mechanic is added to the next Battlefield title. BattleBit allows players to construct cover anywhere on a map. All players have access to these construction options, with the squad leader having exclusive access to spawn beacons. And what this adds is the ability to change up firefight situations in major ways, providing better cover from grenades and bullets and RPGs. Snipers can build hideouts for long-range sniping, while close-range fighters can build a firing line of cover to systematically push forward. Alternatively, Battlefield 2042 really only has one class that can deploy cover, and it's pretty limited overall. Battlefield 5 did allow for more extensive fortifications to be constructed, although they were only in predetermined locations, unlike BattleBit, which lets you build in most areas. Despite BattleBit being in early access, it's already seen major map reworks, weapon balance passes, new features, bug squashing, and complete transparency from the dev team about what they're working on and even struggling with. The open development approach is incredibly invigorating compared to the slow-moving, closed-off studio that you get with DICE and Battlefield. Granted, BattleBit is designed in a way to facilitate fast map tweaks and changes due to the low visual benchmark that they set, but again, I think that's kind of the point of the whole project, being easy to build and manipulate whenever you want. BattleBit, which released very recently, has more maps than Battlefield 2042 does after 2 years of post-launch content. Even if you count Battlefield 2042's Portal maps, it's still less than BattleBit, which seems capable of pumping out maps at a relatively quick rate and even remastering them fast based on data and feedback. Now, to be totally fair, BattleBit's maps don't look amazing or anything, and they definitely have their problem areas when it comes to overall flow and gameplay, but again, it's a new game that seems to be constantly adjusting to improve the experience, and they already have more content, at least when it comes to maps. Now, the last item on the list is something that's really become important to me in the modern world of game development, and that's transparency. BattleBit devs have made it clear that they plan to inject most of the money that the game is making back into the project and continue support for years to come. They've done Reddit AMAs, devcast videos, interviews, and more to communicate and explain what's planned for the future and what they're working on. They even mentioned the exact dollar figures on how much their servers cost and things that are challenging and or may never get implemented due to just the tech limits or time that they have to work on it. This level of transparency goes above and beyond to help interested players know what's going on and follow what's planned for the future. It's a refreshing feeling hearing that from the dev team in a unfiltered, uncurated way. You know you're getting the raw info that isn't being pushed through some PR machine to sound as positive as possible. Now that's my list of the top 10 things, and in the interest of fairness, there are a lot of things that Battlefield 2042 does better than BattleBit, and I'd like to highlight those in another video if you guys liked this one. Also, I know that people are going to bring up performance being better in BattleBit than Battlefield 2042. The only reason I didn't want to put that on my list is that because obviously BattleBit gets higher frame rate than Battlefield 2042. I do think 2042 has very good performance considering its graphical fidelity, so it just seemed like less of a point to me, but if you're playing on low-end hardware, then BattleBit is almost certainly going to be a much better experience. That said, what are some of the things that you think BattleBit does better than Battlefield 2042 that weren't listed here? Let me know in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.